Hello everyone. This video is gonna go over some basic plotting in MATLAB, just the very basics of plotting. I'll make more videos later on about more complicated things you might do. But we're gonna start off with our usual clear all, close all CLC to clear all the variables, close all the current figures, and clear the command window. This keeps you from being confused with anything that might be generated by a previous script or a previous edition of your script. So I've generated just three random arrays, an X array, a Y1, and a Y2, so we're going to use these just as sample things to plot. So general plotting, very simple. They're going to be shown in these set of lines here. So we're going to plot two different figures here and do a couple of different things. So first off, we want to open a figure. You can just use the plot command without opening a figure, but I like to open one using a figure. And then so you do plot x, xy, or x and y1 in this case. Then we can label the axes. We use x label, and that'll be the x-axis label or the horizontal axis label, and y label, and that'll be the vertical axis. And you just use this syntax here, and that figure will look like this, where we have our the axis is generated automatically from the lowest number to the maximum number, in this case 1 to 10, and then the same thing in the y and the dependent axis or our y-axis, so 3 to 9, and then we have our label x here and our label y underscore 1. So that's the syntax for making an underscore in plotting, is to use this underscore. And let's say we wanted to have more than one thing. Oh, I'm on the wrong. If we wanted to have more than one line in the underscore, let's say we wanted to have one underscore set or something like that, and we ran this, we would get the one. Oh wait, it needs to be a squiggly bracket, I think. I forget so much syntax. I always mess it up once. Oops. Let's try that. There we go. So a squiggly bracket, and you'll get whatever's inside the squiggly bracket as the small subscript. So, and then the default line is a blue line with no points connecting your data points, with no markers on each data set. So then we can make this a little more fancy, because we had two dependent variables, and so we might want to plot both of them at the same time. So we can open another figure. We can say hold on, plot the first one just like we did before. Then we can plot the next one, x, y2, and then we can make this black stars. K is for black, H is for stars. If you look up line properties, you can just Google MATLAB line properties. You get all the different kinds of line properties that you can make with shortcuts like this. Then we can define our own axis, where we use axis parentheses bracket the x-min, x-max, and then y-min and y-max, and then close bracket, close parentheses, and then we label our x's in the same way. And so if we look at this output, we can see now we have we've moved our axes somewhat, both of them, and we have black stars instead of just a blue line, so we can differentiate between the two lines. And then if we write legend x1, I need parentheses x2, and hold off. It's just a good idea to use hold on and hold off, so that you don't keep adding lines of plotting to the figure that you're working with. And so, but that legend line added our legend. So it's going to write whatever variable you type in first, that's going to be the one that's plotted first, and whatever's plotted second is going to be the second item in the legend, no matter what it's labeled, no matter what you label. There's no intelligence there. Now, if we wanted to, let's say, change the font or the size of the axes, you can come up with the syntax by looking it up, or you can go to the this is called the plot tools button. I'm going to shrink it down so it fits. I'm sorry, my screen capture isn't the best in the world, so we keep the windows small. So if you click on this button under the help window in the figure window, you get show plot tools and dock figure. And then you can click on, let's say you want to mess with the axis. I'm going to move this up so you can see it. I click, oh, nuts. I went to full screen. That's not what I wanted. Sorry, having a little trouble. Here we go. So I clicked on the axis, and now you can see it's X label. If I go to font, and I go to font, you can see it's font size 10, and maybe I switch it up. I can make it bigger, maybe 14 or 16. And then, so I can do all kinds of different things. I can mess with anything on the plot. I can move around the legend. I can change the font size of the labels or the font style or the font size. I can change the text color to red or something. I can make it italic or oblique. You have more properties here. If I click on the data, I can change the line width or the line style. I can change the line width. I can add markers or take them away. And you can do all this editing in this plot tools window. And then if you go to File, Generate Code, MATLAB will go back in itself and generate the code that you need to do the changes that you made. So if you look at axis, so we changed the axis. So if you go back and we made the font, this is the syntax you need to use, font size 16. If you want your marker color or you want to change the line style, you can use the syntax that's shown here. The legend position, you can use this syntax to give all the X-min and X-max, Y-min, Y-max. And then if you wanted to change the color, you can use this syntax. So that's what I like to do, is go into the figure editing, the figure plot tools, change whatever I want the first time I run the code, have that generate some code, and then take the syntax that it generates and apply that to my script so that I only have to do the changes to the figure once, and then it'll automatically generate the figure however I want it. So it gets to be a little tricky when you start messing with the axes, because you can use this copy this syntax both of these lines, and then it'll work fine because you're calling this figure 1 here. So rather than just copying this font size into the axis line, you can copy these 2 lines and it'll save you a lot of trouble. So if you just follow the syntax that's generated, it's much easier than trying to make up your own. So I hope you found this useful, and you have a good day.